everyone. My name is Natalie Dawson. Welcome to Leader Talk. This show is proudly brought to you by Brainiact. Each week, we are meeting with incredible leaders from around the world to discuss all things leadership and business insights. Each person coming on this talk show has given up their valuable time for one very clear purpose: to give back to small and medium business owners. Now, do you struggle to disconnect from work and take breaks? Do you perhaps say yes to absolutely every client, job, and employee and are finding it difficult to focus on what is important? Well, today, my guest co host, Roger Jowett, former Motion Asia Pacific CEO and current Brainiact mascot franchise partner, and I are fortunate to chat to our guest speaker, Ambreen Nadeem. Ambreen is a best-selling author, keynote speaker, and founder of Psychology Talks. With a master's degree in industrial psychology, Ambreen has always been passionate about understanding human behavior and helping others gain insights into how their mind can lead to a successful life. Ambreen is here today to teach us all about the importance of a healthy mindset and self-care, as well as understanding when to say no in business so we can all focus on what is important. Welcome to the show, Ambreen.
Hello, Natalie and Roger. Thank you so much for having
Morning.
me here. It's an honor to be here with you.
It is a pleasure to have you here, Ambreen, and we are so excited to learn from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to start off by asking you two fun questions. We ask all our guests this. So your two fun questions to begin are, if you could instantly become an expert in any field or subject, what would you choose?
Mhm. So let's see that if I have to choose my like let's say instantly become an expert, then I would love to help people. Just the one passion that I have is to help them deal with the daily challenges in their lives, and that is one thing that I would really want to be like instantly become an expert that who can actually help them deal with their daily stress, depression, or something like this. So that's one thing that I would want.
Fantastic. And what about the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and who gave you this piece of advice?
Oh, it was definitely my mom, and she always gave me this advice to dream big. She always told me that whatever you have in mind, even if you think that it's not possible, just dream of it. I mean, make it a goal. Like you must have heard this. Like if you dream for moon, you at least reach the stars. So like you have to dream big, even if you're not able to achieve the dream that you had really for opted for. Even if you achieve the 50% or 70%, and if the goal is too big, you would be able you are a winner anyways. So the one thing that I just that advice is stuck in my mind, and I always dream big.
I love that. Always give yourself something to aspire to, isn't it? And dream big.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful piece of advice by your mom. Now, Ambreen, I gave a bit of an intro to you at the beginning, but there is so much more to Ambreen and your career and what you do. Can you share with our audience so they do understand who you are? So tell us a bit about yourself, your career, and what you do, please.
Okay, sure. So, first of all, thank you for the beautiful introduction. It actually summed up quite well. So, I'm a psychologist. Like my major is industrial psychology because I always been intrigued by the fact that why humans behave the way they behave. Why actually, for example, if someone likes the red color, the other person hates the red color, right? So, what are the main reasons behind that? Why a person is, let's say, why any situation makes one person so angry, but the other person remains so calm in that situation. So, what are the reasons for all these ambiguities? So, that was the reason why I got into psychology. But I would just tell you again that, that when I was about to choose my major in psychology, everyone from my relatives, from my friends, they stop me because they think that this is not the right field. I wouldn't be able to make money out of it. I would be that, going for, so I'm opting for something which doesn't have a future. So everybody actually said that I should either go for economics or go for MBA. But again, my mom was the only one. She said that if it is your passion, you should go for it, no matter what. And then I listened to her, and that's why I went to psychology. But again, the journey wasn't easy because, of course, there are lesser opportunities. At that point in time, it was quite less, and especially like I came from Pakistan, so there was not much of the recognition for the psychologist in the corporate world as well. But when you have the passion, or when you love your work so much, or when you really are passionate about understanding human behavior, you tend to stand out. And that's exactly what happened to me also. Like when I was even doing the studies, like I know that I was giving more efforts of studying to find out what's happening and what's doing. So, I did my best even in the studies, and then that's how I also got to selected in one of the giant corporate world as Unilever at that point in time. And then I joined as a marketing research consultant and a marketing research manager at that point in time. Still, it wasn't the easy journey because, of course, my degree was of a psychology where they prefer MBAs or something. They did hire me, but I was at a very, I was not given the position that I deserve at that time. Even some other candidates who were not as capable, I would say, they were given much preference over me. But as I mentioned, that when you have the passion, you tend to stand out, and that's exactly what happened to me. Like I was doing a lot of work. I did try my best to prove myself, and the company did found out. And after a few years, like I was given the desired title, the desired designation, and that's how my journey in the career moved on. But when I was enjoying my career, but at the time my husband moved out from the country, from Pakistan to Saudi Arabia. And then like I was at the peak of my career. And then I had no choice. I had to join my husband at that point in time. But that transition taught me a lot because I had to leave my career when I was at the peak and then join my husband. And I have to quit, of course, the corporate world, everything. And it just taught me a lot. At that point in time, when I moved to Saudi Arabia, I was very depressed because I thought that I won't be able to start my career from where I left. And the same thing happened because there was not much opportunities. I was trying to find out. And then and all the time, I just realized that family is important. And then even when I was getting a lot of offers from the different companies, I said, no, I think my family needs it. My kids were young at that point. And that's how I got into entrepreneur journey. I decided that no, I would not join the corporate world, and I did start my own consultancy, and I would start doing things on my own because that gives me more flexibility. Because when you're in the corporate world, you just can't say, as you mentioned, can't say no to a lot of things. There is a pressure, there is a deadline, and then I said, okay, because my kids need me, my family needs me, so I opted for the freelance journey or the entrepreneur journey, where I could manage the projects on my own, where I have the chance to pick up or choose how much I can do it. Because sometimes when we keep taking in, and we don't do justice to ourselves and to the projects as well, or to the work that we are getting, because we are so burned out, we won't be able to give 100%. So that's exactly how it's going. The other thing was also in my mind as that, as you know, and a lot of people know about me, that I am passionate about mental health. And I've been advocating mental health through my blogs, like podcast, from my content, or all the social media. So the reason why I am too much passionate about it, because at a certain point in time, I was extremely severely depressed, and I did have a lot of like suicidal thoughts, and then during all this thing, I realized that, it was all in my mind. And when I start changing my thought pattern, everything became so good in my life. Like I said, like, the life changed. And I saw the life transform when I started changing my thought pattern. I started changing my mindset. And then I decided that, okay, what I have gone through, the misery of the depression, the misery of all these thoughts, no one else should go through it, because they need to hear that, it's all in the mind. It's all in our control, and we can be in charge of our life. We can be in charge of the destiny. So that's why from social media and from all these blogs, writing about it, so people should know that how they can stay in charge of their life, and they can feel better, they can feel happy, they can be happy in their lives. So that's a brief intro.
Wow. Thank you, Ambreen, for being so authentic and just raw with that story. Can I ask, Ambreen, because there's going to be a lot of, people listening here, and they're going to relate to certain aspects of your story. That bit where you said, you were at a point where you were depressed and it was all in the mindset and you had to change that mindset. How difficult was it for you to actually change it, to go into that positive mindset? Because even people, whether you're a business owner or not, being in that situation and then realizing you're in a bad situation and trying to get into a positive mindset, it sounds really hard.
Yes,
How did you
absolutely.
manage that?
It's very difficult, and I will tell you that how it actually happened to me. It's basically, as I told you, it I was depressed like when my father lost the job. He was we were having really good times when he had the job, and once he lost the job, I was in the high school, right? I was about to go to the college, so that point in time. Um, our financial uh, stability went really bad, and we started facing financial crisis. And that point in time, you said, "Oh my God, what's happening? The luxuries that we used to have, it's like it's going, and it's like everything comes at certain price." And not only that, the luxuries that I'm talking about, it's all also about the people, that the behavior of the people change. Those who used to be our friends, now they're taking their, turning their backs on us, because they don't get any benefit from us. So everything that made me really depressed, I said, "Oh my God, like my life is going to be like, it's not going to get better." At that point in time, I thought it's the end, and I said, like, I didn't have any choice. I said, like, I think it's the time that I should finish it rather than going through all the miseries for the rest of the life. So I was in a severe depression. At that point in time, I just thought that, okay, that's it. I want to end my life. And I had severe thoughts of suicide. But during all these thoughts, what I realized is that I was looking for some painless way of, committing suicide, to be honest, because I said, "Oh my God, if I let's say hang myself, it's gonna give me some pain, and that I didn't want." And all these, like all the time when I was looking for some these tools, I realized that occurred to me that it's not the life that I'm trying to end. It is actually the pain that I'm trying to end. It's not something that I'm running away from my life or from my. And when that occurred to me, I was like deep in my thoughts. It's not only just one day it occurred to me and I just stopped. I had like constantly this conversation going on in my mind, and I said, "Oh my God, I think I need to change my thinking. Maybe this is my thoughts, that there is no better way of moving in life further. There could be something that I could do better." And then that's how I started changing. He said, "Oh my, I think I need to end the pain of my thoughts. It's not something, the pain is really there. I know that I cannot change the circumstances." And all these, like these thoughts were coming in my mind, and I was just looking for, at the same time, I was looking for the tools that could give me something, easy death. But at the same time, I was also looking for maybe I could see change in my life. And one event that really struck me so hard was that, I saw a trail of ants going on. This is a trail of ants, and they were carrying such a heavy load on them. They were preparing for the winter season and everything. And they were just going in a straight line, following the leader. They know that they need to go. And there was their way was blocked somehow. So they actually, what I saw is that the ant did not give up. They actually changed their way, and they try to, maybe the leader went through the same easily, but the moment when the way was blocked, they did not just go through it. They just changed their way. They took a longer route, but they did not give up. They didn't just threw their weight and they said, oh my god, it's ended. And then it just occurred to me that maybe I need to change my route too, to approach it. And like, this is again, it's so much going on in my mind. I was just constantly thinking about it, and it did not happen overnight. It's just not just the one session that I woke up in this and I saw the ant just one day. It was not this happened in one day. It took weeks and months, and I was constantly in the conversation with me. I was trying to figure out, I know that what to do now. And then I just realized that, okay, it's not just that I wanted to end the life. It's just that I need to change the route, and I think I can achieve those dreams, because as I mentioned in the beginning, that my mom always gave me this inspiration that you need to dream big, you need to try for something best or something. And I said, okay, if I have a goal, and then why not? I need to actually change the route and try to see the things from the different perspective. And believe me, it may sound a cliche that when you start to see, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It does happen. It simply does happen, because when I felt that my depression was going, because when I started seeing that, okay, there could be some opportunity out there, and I could see lots of opportunities. Then I started seeing that, okay, I think I need to see more positive. And then I'll tell you that how mind works and everything. And when when this realization happened, at that point in time, I decided that I need to tell people, I need to tell everyone that they can change their life. And then I decided that I will write a book, and then I just make myself, set myself a goal for 20 years that I will write a book, and then I'll share it with other people. So that's how it all happened.
What an inspirational story. I have no doubt that everyone listening here is just, it's a very touching story. And we are very privileged that you are here to share all this with us, because it's just incredible, Embreen. This mindset that you have, you make it sound easy, but I can imagine how difficult that was. When we talk about all the business owners listening in on this talk show at the moment, cultivating this healthy mindset, how important is it to actually help with business growth, success, even people that aren't business owners that are listening in at the moment, even success as a person? How important is this healthy mindset that you are now speaking about?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And it's as you know, like, I feel our mind is the greatest tool, the greatest power we have. And whatever we want to achieve, it's all in our mind. Like, if we know how to use mind, we can do everything. And that is the most powerful thing you can ever imagine. Like, it's powerful, more powerful than supercomputer or anything. But the thing is that you need to know how to use it. Otherwise, you will be, it's like, a mind is a better slave, but a terrible master. So, if you know how you can use it, you can achieve the fortunes, you can achieve anything you want. But if your mind is controlling you, because it is like God has made us, or God has given us a mind, to protect our well-being. There is certain default mechanism going on, default algorithms going on to protect our well-being, to protect ourselves from dangers. So we will always be choosing what is, is the most, I would say, always a very safe way of going through, because that's how our mind works. It will always lead you to a sort of a comfort zone, to the place where you are more comfortable, and you know that you are not risking your life, because that's how your mind is supposed to work. But you need to realize that there are two kind of fears, I would say. One is legitimate and one is the illegitimate fear that is actually mind is trying to give a make a like a warning sign, or it creates a red flag when you're going into some danger zone. So, for example, if you are standing on the tallest building and try to jump, your mind is creating a red flag. Don't jump. This is danger zone, and that's a fear, and that's a legitimate fear, I would say, because of course your mind is protecting your well-being, and that is how it meant to be. But if you, let's say, if you're trying to start a new journey or entrepreneur journey, you're trying to start a business or something, there again it's a danger zone. Your mind doesn't discriminate between jumping off from the tall building or going into the unknown as a, like, maybe an entrepreneur, maybe this is something that you want. Your mind again creates a red flag, creates something that, don't go into the unknown, stay here, because that's how your mind is protecting you. But then that's the illegitimate fear, because I know this how it's something, this fear is not real, because your mind is trying to protect you. And then you need to be in charge, and you say, oh my, this is the fear that is created by our brain to protect our brain. So that's how you need to be in control. You need to see that where your mind is protecting your well-being, or where you're actually mind is just creating a red flag to be prepared, right? So for let's say maybe you want to achieve, or when you want to go to the unknown zone or to the unknown area, you need to be prepared. When your mind is preparing or giving you a warning sign, creating a red flags, that means that you need to prepare yourself to go into the unknown. Don't go without preparation.
So Ambreen, as I listen to your story, the word that's coming into my mind is the bravery that is required to, in a way, punch through challenges and to grab hold of opportunities that lay before every business owner, small business leader. Do you have a view on how to cultivate and use that bravery muscle?
Yeah, I mean, this is not everyone can do that, again, because a lot of people tend to opt for some safer route, right? And of course, this is where your mind is always going through that, calculating the risk. Is it really high risk to actually go into the danger zone or not? Sometimes here I would highlight the importance of your intuition. It's you need to listen to your intuition, where is, and even in the business, if you listen to all those big leaders like Steve Jobs, Nikola Tesla, they always talk about intuition, because there is a lot of times when you are required to take risk, where your rational mind is saying that it's all wrong, but your heart is saying, no, I think that is right. So sometimes you have to make that irrational decision, and the irrational decision should come from the intuition. You should know from your heart that is it right? I'm sure we all must have met with so many people that with whom initially we think that, oh my God, this is not something that this person isn't, maybe not our type. But when we start meeting, and like a heart says, I think this is the right person, and somehow and then despite all the rational belief that maybe that the person who may not have a good stature, may not have a good let's say title or something, but your heart says that I think he's the right one or she's the right one. So that intuition is always following you to the right. And I think that intuition prepares you to be brave enough to take those risks.
Well, so many of us
That's-
are conditioned to always try and get everything right, aren't we? And we were chatting
Yeah.
before the show.
Yeah.
I've managed to cultivate my mind to accept perfection. Natalie, we talked about this. Perfection is
Yeah.
almost impossible.
Yeah.
I want to move at a certain pace, and therefore I am comfortable with the 8 out of 10. I mean, it's an interesting notion, is it, that seeking perfection all the time?
Yeah, I mean, again, seeking perfection is always make you more worried, more you stressed, because you're trying to find out everything that you want, to be in the perfect way. But here, I would again say that sometimes we need to let go of so many things. We may have a big dream, we may have high goals, but at that point in time, we need to know what is more important, what is our priority, and then we need to select what we can let go of and what we can work upon. And I think that is the mix that is more important. It's not about doing everything all the time. I think that is the main thing. Society tells us you need to create the hustle business, you need to do this, you need to have a title, you need to have a status, and you need to have a big car. And then we are chasing all these things, trying to satisfy what our society wants from us. And in that chase, what suffer is our soul or our self. And then we need to take a pause and we need to see. I think that is all, whatever it is there, but we need to take care of ourselves. We need to set the priorities right. We need to let go of the things which are not important. Maybe getting a fancy car, which requires maybe a couple of $100,000, can wait or is not as important as going to the nature, spend time and getting a walk and spending time with yourself is more important, because that gives you more peace. And once you have the peace, believe me, you can achieve that $100,000 as well. But you need to realize that you need a mental peace. You need to take care of yourself first. If you don't have a good physical health, if you don't have a good mental health, it's at the end of the day, your goal, you won't be able to achieve all the goals that you dream of. So first and foremost thing is you need to take care of yourself and let go of the things which you think are more important, or which maybe society has told you that are more important for you.
It's brilliant. And just to give the context to what Roger was saying before, we had a discussion off air. I am actually a copywriter, so you can just imagine I love perfectionism because all our words have to be 100% perfect. So I was in a situation where everything went past my desk. My team would write, but I had I had looked at everything, and I was working crazy hours because I had to see everything. And it was actually one of these podcasts where one of the leaders came on and was talking about, the perfectionism can kill you. And it was a massive wake up call for me because, like you said, Ambreen, I was just working because everything was going through me. I wasn't letting go of anything. And that was a realization for me and anyone that's listening. You do have to let go of things because you do need to make time for yourself. I had no time for myself. Now I do, but I've empowered the team. And it was really hard to let go because it's not easy, is it, Ambreen, to actually let go of things? And especially Roger's 8 out of 10 rule. I don't know how you do it. You might want to mention that to our listeners because it's incredible.
Well, maybe let Ambreen answer, but I'm very happy with making the odd mistake. My proviso is I'm working with the pace that I want, quite energetic. So I could slow right down and maybe get 9.5 out of 10. I take the view I'll never get 10 out of 10. So I'm very comfortable in myself to punch out the 8 out of 10. And my golden rule is when the team makes a mistake, it's never a problem. We just get in a huddle and understand what is it that went wrong. Let's not trip up again. So you're getting better all the time by accepting little failures, not cataclysmic failures in business, but little things that didn't work out. So yeah, it's driven by my need for speed, I guess, because wanting to achieve a goal in a timeline. So I had to compromise and became very comfortable, I would say, in my 40s. Took me a while to get there.
Because it is difficult to let go. Do you agree, Ambreen? Like, we do all these things, and as business owners, you want to be across, the expenses, the workers, you want summer on the tools, it's you work crazy hours, and to actually let go, it's a process, right? It doesn't just happen overnight.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's like, as an entrepreneur, no one loves your business as much as you do, right? And the same,
Absolutely.
we can't get the same dedication from the employee, whatever the resources we do this. So it's again, as Roger said, it's a process, and we need to learn from the mistakes. That yes, we need to pass on some work to the person, and here I think it's important here's the importance of being a leader when you know how to lead a team, because as I mentioned, nobody will love your business as much as you do, because this is your heart and soul. But people think people will just join you for the sake of money or whatever the passion is. But as hello, yeah. So sorry, my screen got blank for a minute. So anyway, so saying that when we are as a leader leading the team, we actually need to know that how to have that sort of to give the vision to our team member, where they can actually follow with the passion. And that's what I learned from when I was working at the corporate level, when I was also leading a team. Because when I was given a team at that point in time, they were very, very demotivated, because when I was leading 2 departments at that point in time, and I was the youngest one when leading the team, like of the 15 to 16 people, and all of them were demotivated because they think that I'm not the right person to lead them. And at that point in time, I realized that like when you have to lead the team, whether it's your business or at the corporate world, you need to give them some motivation, and you need to have some kind of build some conviction that you are the right person for them, right? And then you give them some motivation that they do work for you for certain reason. And at that point in time, because our business is our thing, but what is in it for them? When you realize the importance that what is in it for them, then they will actually start giving them, and then you build up empathetic connection. It's not that you're just being there passing on the orders to them, they do this. It doesn't work. You can never have a very successful team where you are there and having a disconnect with them. You need to be with them as a person who cares for them, who empowers them, rather than just passing the orders that that's what I learned, like being a mother of my like what I see that that a lot of parents are disconnected from their kids because they just don't spend the quality time with their kids. They're just passing on the orders that don't do this. It's a time for the dinner. It's time for the lunch. It's not like that. And the same thing I think applies to the leadership, that you don't just need to pass order to your team. You need to connect with them. You need to understand what's going on in their lives. If somebody is unable to work for you, what is the reason? Maybe you just need to empathize with them. And that's how I feel you can actually create a healthy team who can work for you as passionate as you are.
Yeah, it's the empathy, isn't it? It's the taking that extra step and understanding what they need.
Absolutely.
With that in mind, I'm actually going to flip the topic, because I know a lot of our listeners are eager to learn about learning to say no, because this I've also been guilty of this, because from the beginning, when I started my business, I thought, and I'm sure there's lots of people that think this as well, we say yes to everything. Now, I was saying yes to things that weren't even things to do with writing. We were doing all sorts of back-end system things and things that right now I wouldn't say no to if any clients are listening at the moment. But we say yes to everything because we're afraid of losing clients. We want to we want the work. So it's this yes, yes, yes. Yet, now we're going to kind of flip this and kind of realize that it is okay to say no so that we can focus on what's important. With this in mind, Ambreen, how important is it for business owners to actually say no to things so they can focus on what is important?
This is such an important question. I think this is where the problem lies with most of the entrepreneurs. And I also face the same dilemma, I would say, in the beginning when I was establishing my entrepreneuring journey, when I started establishing my business, and that I was always on the lookout that when I can get more projects and I can do more, so I can earn more money, so I can expand my network, and this is how it's the entire thing. But then I realized that in that chase of getting all the projects, one thing that I was losing myself, my priorities, my kids were suffering, and most importantly, my quality was deteriorating. I mean, the promise that I wanted to, and I know that I could do it, I was unable to give my 100% to the project. And that's when I realized that if I take up a lot of projects and if I take up a lot of clients, I wouldn't do justice to myself, to my project, and to the clients as well, because I know that I wouldn't be able to give them. I'm sure I am the right person who can give, but because of all those crunch in time, because of I don't have the time, I don't have the physical abilities, I was unable to do that. So then I realized that I think this is the time that I need to say no, and I need to focus on one thing at a time, which I can do it. And then you need to pick and choose what is most important. Sometimes there are lots of important things going on. There are lots of important clients that you want to work with. It's not only like, that you need to let go of the clients that you don't like. Of course, they are easy to say no to, because the real difficulty comes when you know that they are all good clients and you have to let go because you need to focus. And that's when the power of, setting the right priorities. What is important to you? What is important to you at that moment in time? Because I remember when I moved to Saudi Arabia, I was so much eager to actually start the employment in the corporate world. And then, of course, I was starting applying to them. And I started getting a lot of offers as well that, that I could work in the corporate. But at that point in time, I realized that my kids were young. I was in a new country. If I leave them, they will suffer. And at the end, I would also suffer. So then I started saying no to all this. And then I started getting into the entrepreneurial journey. And then I started working as a, consultant and everything. But even then, when I started this, I started getting more clients and everything. At that point in time, I realized, no, I think I need to focus more on myself, on my priorities, that what do I need? And most importantly, as an entrepreneur, we try to focus more on like getting more money or getting more, no matter what your intentions are, that you want to help people, you want to add more. But when the process is going on, you start to forget what you had the big goal, right? Because we're so much stuck in the day-to-day life that we tend to forget our long-term goal. At that point in time, I'd say, like when you get too busy, that is the warning sign that you need to realize that, okay, that's the time you need to take a pause. All this hustle, all this business, you need to stop everything and stop and take maybe a week off. Just take a digital detox, stop doing everything what you're doing, and then connect with yourself, and then you'll find the answer. Then you'll be able to set the right priorities. What exactly do you want? So,
and Ambreen, do you have a view about how important it is to enjoy what you're doing versus it not being that important?
Yes. I think that is the main thing. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, that's the worst thing you could do to yourself. Because as I mentioned that when in the beginning, if you follow your passion, you will stand out. Because you know what happens is when you in my book also I've written that there is in this universe everything has a certain frequency, right? When which is called the resonant frequency, where they operate at the optimal level, and when they operate at the optimal level, it goes natural. They perform the best and they stand out best. And I think for humans, you achieve the resonant frequency when you embrace your passion, because that is how you meant to work. For example, if you've seen those big trucks of like the Caterpillar trucks who are excavating in this, they are meant to work in that condition. If you put them and if you start using them as a car driving on the main road, it wouldn't work that way, because they're not meant to work in this. So it's just like, if you are meant to, let's say, work in certain field, or you have this passion, you would be in a natural flow and you would do much more than you would be doing, because that's how you achieve all that resonant frequency. And you do it will come naturally. And that's how your soul, your mind, your body gets in the alignment. And once it gets the alignment, you feel the power. And you must have seen all that, the musician, when if the person is singing a song with the passion, you just don't enjoy the music, you see them in the way that he's enjoying. It makes you feel good, because he's emitting all those frequencies, he's in the alignment of everything. He creates the aura, not only for himself, even the around people around him. And that's what happened when you embrace your passion. You get into those frequencies that gives you more power, not only to you, people around you can see this thing. So I think it's very important that you should realize what you need to do, and don't kill yourself to do something which you don't like.
I think if people can develop the skill of saying no at the right and appropriate time, it actually feels good after
Yes.
that. No, thank you. Not
Absolutely.
going to take on that contract. It lifts you up. It re-energizes you, because if you say yes, it can take you to that darker
Yeah.
place. Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, I think it's practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how we actually get lost in this. That's why a lot of people don't know how to find the passion, because what happens is they get so much busy in their lives that they don't know what do they really want, because they are always under the pressure of doing things which actually they don't like. They don't get the time for themselves to figure out what they want, and just keep on doing, like, being with the people who they don't like, doing the work they don't like, watching those dramas or Netflix series which they may not like, but or listening to the music, going to the sports which they don't like just to impress people, that they are actually killing their soul. And every time they do this, the soul suffers. The more your soul suffers, you get far from yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you want in life. And that constant dissonance in you creates the internal pressure. Like you're doing things which you do. And a lot of people at the peak of the career, they commit suicide. They have fame, they have money, they have everything that you can think of. It's the ideal life for a lot of people that they could dream of. But the only thing they're missing is their connection with themselves. They got too busy in their lives that they lost themselves. And that feeling of emptiness was killing them. So I think it's very important that don't get just busy in the daily lives. Take a time for yourself, connect with yourself, find out who you want. And there are only, I think there's a statistics that says like only one person know that they have realized the purpose, and like 99% of the people are just following what is given to them by the society or something. And believe me, those 1% can stand out, and you would see that they will always be much far ahead from those who are just following what they've been told or what they don't like.
Ambreen, for everyone listening, and they're really touched by this, they do realize that they do need to be more selective with what they say yes to, but they're worried about missed opportunities. There's this fear of actually saying no. Do you have any advice for actually overcoming this fear? Because it's quite scary to be saying yes, 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 and now all of a sudden I have to use the word no and reject. It is scary, and there's anxiety, there's all these things that come with it. Do you have any advice for anyone that's scared to say no?
That's a wonderful question, because you know what happened? It's like a lot of people say that don't be a people pleaser or don't be something. I mean, that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's easy to detect that when people maybe are not very who don't, it's easy to say no to the people who don't like, who you don't like, right? But sometimes there are things that you need to choose, that that you think that is more important, right? Or maybe, and that's sometimes that creates regret, right? That maybe you need to choose two important things in your life, and then you need to see that, okay, you're letting go of like one important thing, and that creates more regret, right? Because I know that it's much easy to let go of the things which are not important, but it's easy to let go of the thing which maybe you think that this is dear to you. And you know what, it will become very easy for you when you connect with yourself and you find out what exactly is important for you. This is maybe the thing is that you think what is important for you is actually not very important for you. This is a dilemma, maybe that, for example, we think that the career is very important, because society is always telling you that career is important. You need to earn money, you need to have title. And these are the things that we believe that this is the most important thing. And when you connect with yourself, then you realize maybe career is not as important as for yourself. So that important thing which you were placing the high importance or high priority level becomes, less important. So again, it at the end of the day, you just need to set the right priorities. You need to connect with yourself, and you need to realize that what exactly is important, and not the ones that you feel that someone else is saying. Maybe your parent has said that, you need to choose this career line because it gives you more money, or maybe you need to have certain relationship because you think that it is the most important thing. No, you need to connect with yourself to find out what exactly is important, and then things become clear. And even if you choose what is not important, and when you have to let go of the thing, I would again refer here that you need to listen to your heart also. Your intuition tells you always the right thing. So just follow that, what your heart says. Sometimes it seems, again, every rational pointers point you that, this seems right, but your heart says no. Then you need to see. And that intuition, I would tell you that how to actually figure out what is that intuition is the sound that you hear, or the voice that you hear from in your head. Not always what always pleases you, because that's I would say that that's the impulse, right? You don't need to follow the impulse. You need to listen. That the intuition, the voice of intuition would be always there. Such a voice, very subtle. It will never be so hard on you. But that voice will remain consistent no matter what, where you go, whatever you do. So that consistent voice is there despite all the impulses. So that's you distinguish that what is intuition and what is impulse.
So there's a lot of there's a premium here on listening skills, listening to your heart, listening to your intuition, listening to your mother, and maybe not listening to your father, listening to your children. I think it's something I've probably not been very good at and become better at. And I see high performing people who are respected. They almost always have great listening skills. Always.
Yeah.
They're not just arrogant and go. They can compute what is being said and heard from all different directions around an issue.
Yeah.
Come to a
Here, I
balanced
would
view.
just tell you one thing that, this is listening skill is the most important. It's not only listening from the people, from this, as you said, it is important, listening from your own mental chatter. This is what, and that is the only power we have to select where you want to focus on, how to create your thought patterns, because there are so much voice going on in your mind. And then, like you said, that there is voice that is telling you you're no good, you're a loser, you can do this. They're telling you the past mistake. You need to give them the like shut up call. Okay, then there are, of course, then you need to change your focus to the listening skill, where you hear the voice that empowers you. And that is exactly the time that's how you actually channel your thought process. I think the only thing in this world you have in your control is your ability to choose your right thoughts. And then when you do that, and that's how you change your mindset. And it has, it's not only, I would just say that thoughts have the only power, because it is created by the synapses of, the neuron synapses, and it's a form of energy, and you see that everything in the universe is energy. And that energy that is created in our mind is the only thing has the power to create the in physiology of the internal physiology. Because like if you start having these positive thoughts, you are creating a neural path in your brain that is changing your brain physiologically, right? So that has the power to create, like this is called the neuroplasticity, that you are creating an internal physiological change in your brain, in your body. And if you study quantum physics, these thoughts are the, like, because it's form of energy, only thoughts have the power to create change in your surrounding. And because this is the energy is creating frequencies, it's the frequencies change, it's kind of a signal sending to the universe, creating entanglement. If you know the concept of entanglement, that's like, this is how the particles in the atoms and particles are entangled. Entangled means they're like connected it so powerfully that if you create the change in your thoughts, it's creating the change in the outside. And if you have a burning desire and you keep on thinking about it, you're changing your internal physiology, you're sending the energy, the frequency in the universe to bring all the positivity or the positive events in your life. And that's how you actually witness the miracles also. So that's kind of a little bit of a scientific explanation that how thoughts can create miracles.
Oh, look, it's super interesting, Amber. When you were saying all that, it brought me back to I've got 3 children like you and Roger as well. And my children always say to me, how do you know the answer to everything, Mum? Our children ask us 1,000 questions a day, right? And we have to know the answer to everything. I love being a mother. Like, I am so passionate about it. I love my children. And, it's always there on your heart, those answers, isn't it? Like, it's just there. It's that little voice that you were talking about. You don't even realize. But when you were talking about that, I'm like, I can relate to that. Every time they ask me a question, it's that little voice that helps me give them the answer that they need, whether it's comfort, whether it's an emotional support, it's always there. So we do have to listen a lot more. Everyone does.
Yes. As like I would just say that as a Carl Jung, the psychologist, he said like we are the energies, right? We are in the universe and we are all connected. I mean, it's the maybe spirituality, I would say, but the thing is, if you feel that, it's that we are maybe in the physical realms, maybe we are hundreds and thousands of miles away, but we are connected. And that's how I just said that, when we send the signals from the thoughts, we actually attract people in our life. You must have seen, if you have certain goal, you just start saying, let's say I want to start a podcast, and then all of a sudden you would start meeting with the people who have done the podcast or something. This is how we send the signal in the universe, and then that's a law of attraction. And that is also proven by the quantum physics, that is how your thoughts, your energy frequencies create entanglement, bring all those events in your life, and you became the real creator of the miracles. You see all these things happening.
It's brilliant. And Breen, very early on, you did mention your book. Now, we know that you've got a book. Can you just tell us a bit about it? Because we haven't been able to mention even the title. Tell us about your book, please.
Yeah, it's the algorithm of life. And that's exactly what I written in the book, because I was always intrigued by the fact that maybe the reality that we see is not as is that it is. Because, as I mentioned, that we are all connected. We see these miracles, we see these happenings, which we cannot explain. But there is certain mechanism going on behind everything. And the thing is that, I'll just tell you that I used to read palms a lot, and I used to read palmistry. I used to predict future for the people that, that there's going to happen with them. And it's then actually it used to bother me a lot that why it happens the same way I predict. I mean, what is their control on their lives? And it's like how they can take charge of their life, because everybody wants the good things in life. If I predict that there's something good is happening, that's fine, but there are certain things that this is undesirable, and how they can avoid. And it used to bother me that why these lines are there and this predict, and that means they don't have any control over destiny. And that's how I actually started studying the different genre about the quantum physics, the philosophy, and this and that. And all of this says that, we have a very little control over our fate or the destiny, because it seems everything is written. And in that basically book, I just gave a new concept that, how you can actually take charge of your destiny, because there is a very little room of using your free will, because if you don't realize how to use that free will, you'll be just following the same destiny that you're chosen for the divine decree or something, or maybe whatever is chosen for you. But how you can use your free will in a right way, and you choose your destiny, what you want in life, not what is given to you. So briefly, that's what I have written in the book, The Algorithm of Life.
Okay.
Brilliant. And if our audience do want to go for more information, Ambreen, can they connect with you on LinkedIn? Is there anywhere we can direct them to?
Yeah, I think this is I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm also active on Twitter and Insta. They can connect with me on these platforms. I also have the website, thepsychologytalks.com. Maybe they can go through it. They can email me through this. So I'm like very easy to connect. Like all the social media is I'm present on all the social media. They can just send me a message, and I would be happy to help them out.
Yeah. And I do recommend for anyone, Ambreen is running a mental health campaign at the moment, and there is a lot of great information on there on LinkedIn. Is that only on LinkedIn, Ambreen?
Yes, it's all on social media. So because May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and as I mentioned, that this topic is very close to my heart, and so that's why we are running the awareness campaign.
Wonderful, Ambreen. Now, Roger, I have a question for you. Would you like to wrap up?
Yeah, sure. Let me fire away. I have the unenviable but pleasurable task of just summarizing the last
there
hour.
Was so much.
Which has gone super fast. And I always think that an hour that's gone pretty fast is a good hour, because we've listened to each other and heard so much. There's loads of comments come in, so I would urge people to just take a little read of those and maybe give a ripple of applause to Ambreen Nadeem, who is the helper She's the person who dreams big, a trained industrial psychologist. I reckon she's a budding quantum physicist as well. And, has told us her personal journey. And I think for me, it's just the notion it's not an easy journey. It's never an easy journey. And, building up resilience along the way is very important to keep the journey going in the direction that you want. And this notion of being in control, it's absolutely a mindset. There are things you can control and things that you can't. So the great insights there, Ambreen. The mind is very powerful. We could have spent another several hours talking about the mind. I love this notion of the legitimate versus the illegitimate fears. And I think that's something for everybody just to sort of note down and quickly move from left to right. Bravery, something we chatted about, listening to your intuition is what can help you push through challenging moments. And really this notion of how important a healthy mindset is. We touched on not seeking perfection, learning to handle failure, etc., because that allows you to take care of yourself. And that means not just the mind, the healthy mind, but also being physically in a fairly good place. You can translate all of this into how to lead a team and the criticality of empowering your team. It allows people to maintain their healthy mindset and healthy lifestyle, hopefully. And with empowerment comes empathy. The learning to say no, a great little topic. It's something I come across very regularly with small, very hardworking business owners. And I think, you have to practice it and understand the impact of not saying no enough is having on you and those around you. I've got some real buzzwords here. Digital detox, absolutely brilliant. Trademark that one if it's not trademarked already. And, this notion of passion and just how important it is to carry us on that professional and life journey with the resonant frequency. Here's the quantum physicist coming in. So, alignment, the aura, all of these things are very powerful notions, I think, for us to hang on to. And I like the way that all linked into, our soul and how, practicing these things and getting better at them, we're nourishing the soul rather than draining the soul. So lots of really good things for us to pick up on. Listening skills. This is a good test of my listening skills, trying to summarize everything over the last hour. But, the high achievers in this world, in whatever they do, are pretty good at listening by and large. If you don't understand entanglement, which I think I need to just study a little bit, I reckon you need to buy the book. So that's The Algorithm of Life. And, just to finish off, taking control of your destiny, just a wonderful insight that, that is the free will. You have got it there, leverage it, and you can take control. Just takes a bit of effort and a bit of bravery. So wonderful to speak with you, Ambreen. Natalie, thank you for leading the session. I hope that was a fair summary of what we've talked about.
That was a brilliant summary. It's been a brilliant hour, Ambreen. We have so many more questions we could ask you, but like Roger said, I agree. It's just flown. Thank you so much for being honest and raw and authentic and sharing your story. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for sharing all your insights with us.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with the world and with your audience. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ambreen. And thank you everyone for tuning in. For more information on Leader Talk and for some great resources to help your business grow, check out brainiact.com.au. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.